All right, you guys requested it, so today we are going to explain The Ballad of Mona Lisa by Panic at the Disco, and it is good. Not just because the music's awesome and because the lyrics sound good together, but when you get deeper into the meaning of the song, it is deep, it means something, it's very cool, and yeah, it's just Panic at the Disco. Also, explaining Panic at the Disco is hard because they get super symbolic and weird and like abstract and awesome. So this one definitely represented a little bit of a challenge for me. Let me just say it was a good break from Gucci Gang and Bad Baby. Also, if you wanna watch more Panic at the Disco explanations, never fear, I've got more. They'll be like around here later at the end of the video. Basically in the song, we have this dude who is hanging out with a prostitute, they just had sex, and he's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this so much. He calls her Mona Lisa a lot, whether that's her name or not. Oh, I rhymed. And it's all very confusing and weird. Chances are a lot of you have personal meanings assigned to what the song is about, and I'm about to dash those on the rocks of reality. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you can't still have your own personal interpretations of the song. It just means that mine is backed up by research. I'm just kidding, I'm being a snob. Seriously though, everybody can have their own interpretations, but there's only one meaning intended by the artist. Usually. Brendon Urie said to OK Magazine, that whole thing with Mona Lisa was the idea that there is this character. For us, you look at the painting and you can't tell what this person is thinking. Not showing too much emotion, there's this Mona Lisa smile masking what's going on in that person's head, the person in the song. The song is about a battle in yourself, an inner struggle in oneself, the duality in nature, where you see yourself as a bad person and the good person trying to correct your bad habits. That's what it was about. We thought that would be an easy way to describe how we were masking our own emotions and trying to figure out how we can solve the bad choices we make. Brendon Urie is tapping into one of the oldest philosophies out there, dualism, and Wikipedia defines it as moral dualism is the belief of the great complement of or conflict between the benevolent and the malevolent. The yin and the yang, the good and the evil, those things inside of us that war with each other to see what kind of person we will become. Brendon Urie thought about the picture of Mona Lisa, and he thought about, you know, how she looked so calm and serene, and wondered like, what's going on behind her head? There's this struggle inside of me, as there's this struggle inside of her, and so he made this song to depict somebody who seems calm and serene, but really has this war going on inside of them. And what better way to talk about this more than to check out verse 1. She paints her fingers with a close precision. He starts to notice empty bottles of gin and takes a moment to assess the sin she's paid for. A lonely speaker in a conversation, her words are swimming through his ears again. There's nothing wrong with just a taste of what you've paid for. All right, this is where the help from Brendon Urie runs out. The big question here is, are the prostitute and him the two sides of this duality? Or is she Mona Lisa and he's wondering about her and the evil running around inside of her mind? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this down below, but I tend to think that he's talking about the prostitute having the good and the evil inside of her. The sin she's paid for probably refers to the consequences of her lifestyle, the bad side winning over the good side temporarily. She tempts him by telling that there's nothing wrong with just a taste of the sin you've paid for, but he believes that there's a good side in her and wants to draw it out in the pre-chorus as we transition from the concrete imagery of the verse to the very high-level abstraction of the chorus. He sings, say what you mean, tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me, give me a sign I want to believe. He wants to know that there still is good inside of her and that it will win. And because she's so enigmatic and mysterious, and because she's so purposeful in what she does, in the chorus he sings, whoa, 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 Mona Lisa, you're guaranteed to run this town. Okay, the woes don't have so much to do with it. But the last line of the chorus, I'd pay to see you frown. He wants some sincerity. He doesn't want just this facade. He wants to see something real come through. I think the more that I like yell my explanation and say it louder, the more I'm convincing myself. Guys, don't let me get away with that. Definitely comment your thoughts. In verse 2, he senses something. Call it desperation, another dollar, another day. And if she had the proper words to say, she would tell him, but she'd have nothing left to sell him. She lacks the words to admit, to confess the struggle that she's going through. But if she talked about it, she wouldn't have the ability any longer to engage in the prostitution lifestyle she'd been a part of. She'd lose that facade and she would have nothing left to sell him, that promise of a good night, because he would know that she was a real person struggling with things and it just wouldn't seem right to him anymore. And as bridges are wont to do, this one looks at things from a slightly different angle. Mona Lisa, yeah, pleased to please you, Mona Lisa. So even though there's this struggle happening inside of her, it's also happening inside of Brendon. He has to decide whether to to engage in this activity or to try to draw out the good in her. And he succumbs to what he believes the lesser option. And we see some themes of this in the music video too. At one point in the music video, if you watch closely, the girl passes by Brendon Urie while he's singing to the crowd of steampunk people, and this like version of him like pops up, and it's like all like pale and wearing like dark, shady, cloudy, whitish frilly clothes, and he's like, basically it's the ghost of him that rises up to watch. Nobody can hear him, nobody can pay attention to him because he's a ghost, except for one girl, and he points to the evidence of who did it. The girl pulls it out, says it's Mary, and everybody knows that it was this woman. But in the end scene, we see these little flames flicker in his eyes, and we know that he's probably not quite up to something good. Complicated characters, personal confessions, this is what makes Panic at the Disco, and what makes it so good. While not telling the exact story, the music video highlights some of the themes here: goodness and darkness, evil and justice. So to be honest, the music video was created to show that the band was becoming something new and evolving. Even though it was released several years after I Write Sins Not Tragedies, it still highlighted some imagery from that song in that music video. And anytime you see the lead singer of a band dying in a music video, you know the band is kind of moving into a new phase. And that's exactly what the music video is about. One of his weaknesses kills him, and then the flames suggest that he's going to delve into some deeper, darker things. But yeah guys, that's it. Please, you right there watching, comment a Panic at the Disco song that I should explain next time. And don't forget to check out a couple of my other Panic at the Disco explanations. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.